Ghost stories are as old as humanity itself, but some people don't just listen to ghost stories, they chase them. From candlelit seance of the 19th century to high-tech live streams ghost hunts of today, paranormal investigators have shaped the way we understand and fear the supernatural. In this video, we'll talk about some of the lives, the methods, and some of the most famous cases of these ghost hunters. From the earliest pioneers to today's modern experts, this is the story of those who dare search beyond the veil. Thanks so much for clicking this video. I'm Debbie Balboa. We are friends. I am your friend. Let's hang out. Our journey begins in the mid-18th century, in the very center of the science and spiritualism movement. Across Europe and America, science became quite famous post-war. Especially people were missing their families and they just wanted something to cope with the pain and the lack of therapy. Mediums claimed to summon spirits and create that connection they really wanted, while skeptics accused them of trickery. Yet out of this mix of both skepticism, fraud, and spiritualism, that's when our very first paranormal investigators that we are gonna talk about emerged. And I'm not gonna say they were the very first one, because no, I believe even way before, the shamans and spiritual people on communities and tribes are kinda also paranormal connections, right? Like they are these sort of mediums. But if we are gonna talk specifically of these investigators, like they are more than just a connection. They are actually trying to investigate and prove if it's real or not. Then we are gonna start with this case. In Britain, the Society for Physical Research was founded in 1882. Scholars, scientists, and philosophers sought to study ghosts, telepathy, and psychic abilities with serious intent. It was the first attempt to bring science and the supernatural together. Now, in this period of time of the 18th century, I think it was 1848, 84, the Fox sisters also appeared in the United States as claimed to be paranormal mediums who would connect with the supernatural and help you talk with your deceased relatives or missing persons. But in actuality, it's been debunked and shown the various ways the Fox sisters created the tricks to pretend to make the noises, to move the tables, to move chairs, to float around. And we need to talk about that because it was quite common. There was a line between those who call themselves mediums and spiritisms, and then there's the other ones who were the magicians, because back then even there was a specific word, phantom something, that even here in France there was this art situation regarding it. So there will be like these artisans, these illusionists. I would say they were illusionists because they would grab a lot of people in a room or like a show, and then they will start talking to ghosts, but create the images through fog or vapor machines, illumination tricks on the wall and the shadows, and people liked it. So whether they believed it or not, they were quite entertained. So we can also talk about that, because beyond just feeling like betrayed, like one thing is you want to talk with your deceased relative and you are in pain and they are taking advantage of you, which is horrible. But on the other side is those who just wanted to get entertained. Yeah, there were probably relatives that you missed, but more than anything, you were chasing the supernatural. You were chasing that show. There were not a lot of, movies and entertainment as we have today. So we need to keep in mind that's why science and the spiritism became so famous. It was just another way of entertainment. People eat it up. Now, one of the most iconic early ghost hunters was Harry Price. A charismatic British investigator, Price made headlines in the 1920s and 30s for investigating haunted houses, mediums, and supernatural claims. His most famous case, the Borley Rectory, dubbed the most haunted house in England. There were claims of phantom monks, ghostly nuns, objects thrown across the rooms. Price used notebooks, cameras, even early sound device to record activity. Critics accused him of hoaxing evidence to boost his fame. So, whether genuine paranormal investigation or just a hoax, Price's work left a legacy. The idea that the paranormal investigation should be documented and systematic. He was one of the first of all these wave that we talked about that turned the paranormal into a spectacle. Across the Atlantic in the 1950s America, a husband and wife team emerged as the faces of paranormal investigation, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed, a self-taught demonologist, and Lorraine, a clairvoyant, investigated thousands of alleged hauntings. Their cases became the stuff of legend. Some of the most famous cases they were quite in the center of it all are the Amityville Horror, a murder house in New York said to be plagued by demonic forces. The Warrens investigated and the story inspired books and films. Annabelle the doll, a Raggedy Ann doll allegedly possessed by a demon, locked in a special case in the Warrens' occult museum. The Perron family, a Rhode Island farmhouse where violent hauntings terrified a family, later dramatized in The Conjuring. And of course, the Warrens remain polarizing. On one side, you have true believers who think they were spiritual warriors and genuinely try to help people. And then you have the skeptics who, to them, they were just really talented storytellers. But no one can deny their influence and even today's name on the paranormal investigation media. But no one can deny their influence, cementing ghost hunting in pop culture. And of course that paranormal investigation isn't just centered in USA and Britain, but all over the world. Countless investigators have pursued the unexplained. Like Masuaki Kiyota, Japan, gained fame in the 1970s for psychic experiments and poltergeist phenomena. Carlos Trejo, in Mexico, he wrote Cañitas, claiming his home was cursed by violent spirits. His story turned him into one of Mexico's most famous paranormal figures. In the India and the Southeast Asia, paranormal groups investigate haunted forts, temples, and colonial houses. Beliefs often intervene with local folklore and religious traditions. And while method differs and cultures are vastly different, they all search the same thing: the veil of the beyond. In the 2000s, ghost hunting moved from dusty libraries to primetime television. Shows like Ghost Hunters, led by Jason Hawes and Grant Wilson, popularized scientific ghost hunting. Using EMF meters, digital recorders, and thermal cameras, they aimed to find evidence or debunk false claims. Now, a lot will say that using these machines is also another way of creating flashy entertainment to make it more visual and more action-packed. Whether if you enter a room without any of these, it will just be someone recording an empty room. But if you enter with a camera, different lights, and these machines that just grab the thermal sensation of things, like the colors, I mean, then you make it interesting. Even if nothing is happening in actuality, like scientifically, people would still be hooked to whatever they are watching because of this. These shows shaped an era where paranormal investigation was as much entertainment as exploration, and the lines between science and spectacle blurred. Honestly, in my opinion, it was always like this, but now it just amplified with the power of TV. Today, paranormal investigation is more diverse than ever. Wait, not me using my candle as a mic. Okay, you know, go with it. Okay, go back to it. Independent investigators, YouTubers, TikTok creators bring ghost hunt to millions. Live streams from abandoned asylum, real-time EVP sessions, even drone footage of haunted ruins or cemeteries. Technology has transformed the hunt. The Paranormal podcast dissect all these cases. YouTube series explore urban situations, unexplainable footage, and even on TikTok, you have the trend where people just create a video with effects to make it viral and be, oh, there's a skinwalker, my dog is a skinwalker, or the door just opened. Some seek answers, others seek only views, but the fascination endures. From Harry Price dusty journals to Ed and Lorraine Museum of Cursed Relics to the glowing night vision screens of today, paranormal investigation has changed, but our obsession with the unknown has not. These investigators, whether sincere seekers or skilled storytellers, remind us of one truth: humanity has always longed to know what happens after death. So the question remains, are these investigators uncovering the supernatural or just chasing shadows? In the end, it's up to you and me to decide whether we believe it or not, but one thing is certain: the ghost hunt is far from being over, and it will continue to fascinate generations. Thanks so much for watching and sticking around. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you believe in, and I love doing supernatural videos related stuff. So let me know what you would like to talk about. Wouldn't it be cool? I always wanted to go ghost hunting, but I also have in my mind like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be the first one to die in a horror movie. But okay, thanks so much for clicking. Don't forget to subscribe again, and see you until the next video. ¡A viento!